again for another episode of Virtual Sankofa Inner City Cultural League After School Program. Today is November the 5th. So a couple days ago, we voted, and our vote was for the presidential election. We also had some other candidates in Congress and Senate and so forth that we voted for. One question that I had was, I keep hearing about this electoral college, and if this president gets this many or this candidate gets this many votes, then they win presidency, and they have to win these states to get the upper hand in becoming the winner. I didn't understand, because as far as I know, every person's vote counts. So every person that votes has a say in the presidency. With the Electoral College, it's a little bit more complicated than that. So with me not having a thorough understanding of it, I did a little bit of research. And just in case any of you do not have a thorough understanding of it, I'm going to show you a couple short videos that's going to explain it a little bit more in detail. I'm going to share my screen, so give me just a moment. And maybe we can get to the bottom of this whole electoral college explanation and what everything means. Make sure my computer has sound and
Most people have heard of the Electoral College during presidential election years. But what exactly is the Electoral College? Simply said, it is a group of people appointed by each state who formally elect the President and Vice President of the United States. To understand how this process began and how it continues today, we can look at the Constitution of the United States. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 of the Constitution. It specifies how many electors each state is entitled to have. Since 1964, there have been 538 electors in each presidential election. How did they decide on the number 538? Well, the number of electors is equal to the total voting membership of the United States Congress, 435 representatives plus 100 senators and 3 electors from the District of Columbia. Essentially, the Democratic candidate and Republican candidate are each trying to add up the electors in every state so that they surpass 270 electoral votes, or just over half of 538 votes, and win the presidency. So how do states even get electoral votes? Each state receives a particular number of electors based on population size. The census is conducted every 10 years, so every time the census happens, states might gain or lose a few electoral votes. Let's say you're a voter in California, a state with 55 electoral votes. If your candidate wins in California, they get all 55 of the state's electoral votes. If your candidate loses, they get none. This is why many presidential candidates want to win states like Texas, Florida, and New York. If you currently add up the electoral votes of those 3 states, you would have 96 electoral votes. Even if a candidate won North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and West Virginia, they would only gain 31 electoral votes total from those 8 states. Here's where it can get a little tricky. On a rare occasion, like in the year 2000, someone can win the popular vote, but fail to gain 270 electoral votes. This means that the winner may have won and collected their electoral votes by small margins, winning just enough states with just enough electoral votes, but the losing candidate may have captured large voter margins in the remaining states. If this is the case, the very large margins secured by the losing candidate in the other states would add up to over 50% of the ballots cast nationally. Therefore, the losing candidate may have gained more than 50% of the ballots cast by voters, but failed to gain 270 of the electoral votes. Some critics of the Electoral College argue the system gives an unfair advantage to states with large numbers of electoral votes. Think of it this way. It is possible for a candidate to not get a single person's vote, not one vote, in 39 states or the District of Columbia, yet be elected president by winning the popular vote in just 11 of these 12 states: California, New York, Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, New Jersey, North Carolina, Georgia, or Virginia. This is why both parties pay attention to these states. However, others argue that the Electoral College protects small states such as Rhode Island, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and even geographically large states with small populations like Alaska, Wyoming, and the Dakotas. That's because a candidate can't completely ignore small states, because in a close election, every electoral vote counts. There are certain states that have a long history of voting for a particular party. These are known as safe states. For the past 4 election cycles, in 1996, 2000, 2004, and 2008, Democrats could count on states like Oregon, Maryland, Michigan, and Massachusetts, whereas the Republicans could count on states like Mississippi, Alabama, Kansas, and Idaho. States that are teetering between parties are called swing states. In the past 4 election cycles, Ohio and Florida have been swing states, twice providing electoral votes for a Democratic candidate and twice providing electoral votes for a Republican candidate. Think about it. Do you live in a safe state? If so, is it a Democratic or Republican safe state? Do you live in a swing state? Are your neighboring states swing or safe? Is the population in your state increasing or decreasing? And do not forget, when you're watching the electoral returns on election night every 4 years and the big map of the United States is on the screen, know that the magic number is 270 and start adding.
Okay, I hope that gave everybody a little clearer explanation of what the electoral vote is and the Electoral College. If not, there is an even shorter video that I have that I found to be a little bit more clear. So I'm going to play that one. Again, this is very short.
The United States uses the popular vote to elect members of Congress, governors, mayors, state legislators, and local officials, but not to elect the president. Instead, the highest office in the land is determined by the Electoral College. And our own Todd Pyro joins us now with more on what the Electoral College really is and its history. Hey, Todd.
Ainsley, good morning. Great to see you. The Electoral College, as we know, it was created by the 12th Amendment of the Constitution, which was ratified in 1804. Today, there are a total of 538 electoral votes, and a candidate needs at least 270 to win. We all know that, right? So how does it work? Each state gets one elector for each member of Congress. In most states, all the votes go to whoever wins the popular vote in that state. Then those electors get together in December, and they're the ones who actually vote for the president. The electors are appointed by their state's political party, and they pledge to support that party's candidate. But some break that pledge. They are called faithless electors, and they actually vote for somebody else. In 2016, 7 electors did just that, the most ever in history. To combat this, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled back in July that states can force electors to keep their pledge. Currently, 33 states and D.C. have laws that do this. As you recall, there was a big uproar in 2016 when Hillary Clinton lost the election but won the popular vote. But that wasn't the first time it happened. The presidential elections of 2000, 1888, 1876, and 1824 also saw the president win the Electoral College but lose the popular vote. Over the years, there have been hundreds of proposed amendments to change the Electoral College, but only one has gotten remotely close to being passed. After the 1968 presidential election saw Richard Nixon win against Hubert Humphrey and George Wallace, a 1969 bill to replace the Electoral College with the popular vote passed in the House of Representatives. And though it was endorsed by Nixon, the bill eventually died in the Senate after it was filibustered, and it still stands today. Ainsley, back to you.
Very interesting. Thanks so much, Todd.
Okay. All right. So that to give you guys a little bit of an explanation of what the Electoral College is, why it has been put in place. And as of Thursday evening, November the 5th at 4:56 p.m. Eastern time, our votes are looking like, again, you need 270 of the electoral votes to win. Former Vice President Joe Biden is at 264, and current President Donald Trump is at 214. So it looks like Joe Biden is up quite a few votes on the Electoral College. He only needs 6 more votes to be counted as the winner. Now, again, these votes are probably going to be recounted depending on who comes out to be the winner. But we shall see in the next couple of days. We will see who the president is. And in the next couple of days, we will be also going over the votes for the Kids' Choice, which we have still posted up on our site. So you still have time if you'd like to go to ICCLARTS.org and go ahead and post your vote for who you think should be the next president of the United States. We also have some seats for Delaware representatives that we need to be voted on as well. So I'd like to see all of your votes. I can't wait to see what comes of this election, and we will keep you posted as we see. Hope you guys have a great evening, and we will see you next time.